It's a great feeling to see an assembled circuit board come out of the end of an inline machine nice and clean. However, what happens next? Stick around, because today we're going to be talking about best practices for what to do with the boards once they're cleaned. Once a circuit board comes off your cleaning line, unfortunately that's not the end of its journey through the manufacturing process. There are still a few more things that need to happen, and the way that you handle the boards as they come off the line can affect those last few processes. First, we recommend that you always use gloves, especially when handling high reliability boards. It would be a shame to spend all that time and effort to make sure that your board is perfectly clean to then go and contaminate it with your hands. Many people argue that if they handle the board carefully by the edges, then they don't need to use gloves. Now, I always recommend handling boards by the edges, assembled or not, to prevent any sort of contamination or damage. However, if post-cleaning testing is on the menu, for example, IC or ROSE, then they'll pick up on any contamination, whether it's on the edge or not. Also, remember that wearing gloves serves two purposes. Of course, it protects the board from you and your greasy hands, but it also protects you from anything that might be on that board. There are lots of chemicals that could potentially be on that board, for example, lead, polymer plasticizers, or adhesive residues that you wouldn't want to get in your hands and then go eat a sandwich. The next thing to consider is the next step of the manufacturing process. Some boards go straight into test, some boards go into secondary soldering processes, like hand soldering, wave soldering, or selective soldering, and some boards get conformally coated. If the boards are going to conformal coating or secondary soldering processes, then you need to consider the amount of time the board will be in between processes. If the floor life of the board is exceeded, then it should be baked out to remove any moisture that will have absorbed into the laminate. Absorbed water can cause a few issues, and they all stem from the fact that when water vaporizes, it expands. If the water is internal to the composite structure, then it can cause bubbling and delamination of the layers as it gets heated up through the soldering process. If that moisture gets caught underneath a coating material, it will cause the same bubbling and delamination as the material cures. Now, selecting the appropriate baking time can be challenging, but IPC 1602 gives some guidelines on how to select the right baking parameters. Baking too hot or too long can be a problem, as it may affect other characteristics of the board, for example, oxidation of some finishes or unwanted intermetallic growth. By being mindful of the processes after cleaning, we can make sure to implement the appropriate handling procedures to make sure we don't inadvertently undo a step or become the root cause of failures down the line. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and let me know your thoughts or questions in the comments below. You can also email questions or comments to AskDrAdam@Kyzen.com. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any new episodes. And as always, stay clean.